What's up, my beautiful simplified fat loss chicks? Let's chat about habits. Who has a hard time changing their behavior? Me. It's so hard for me to create new habits about food, and it used to be about exercise too, even though I can make habits about other things. But can I just be so for real with you? I love junk food and just chilling and watching television. And so I was always one of these people who knew what to do but couldn't make myself do it. If that's you, this live is for you because there's a lot of things we get wrong or if we're thinking about things incorrectly when it comes to making a habit that's just making it even harder than it needs to be. Um, and some of this drives me crazy because now I can so clearly see how it keeps women stuck. And so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this one big habit myth so then you can get over it and not fall victim to this thing anymore. But let me know if you're watching me live, if you're catching the replay, if you're new around here. Hello, my name's Nikki. I am the creator and lead coach at the Keep It Off Academy. And we're so happy that you're here with us in the Simplified Fat Loss group where we share a ton of accurate science-based information to keep your fat loss journey simple, but very, very effective because we need both, right? And shout out to all of our 7 day summer slim chicks who just wrapped things up and crushed it. I hope you're all so, so happy with yourself. I'm seeing all of the results coming in on your forms, weight coming off, energy going up, feeling more confident than ever before that you can actually do it because we teach you sustainable methods. So, so good. I'm so happy for all of you girls. Okay, so what is this big habit myth that's keeping us all stuck? It's that habits are made in 21 days. No, they're so not. That is bullshit. That is marketing. And so, how do we make a habit? How long does it actually take? Here's the deal. You might change like when you want to brush your teeth in the morning in 21 days. You're not changing lifelong habits in 21 days because literally what a habit is. So you have like they call these neural pathways in your brain, okay? So it's like think of these as like paths in your brain, ridges, grooves, however you want to envision it. And that's like the more times you do a behavior, the deeper that groove gets, the deeper that ridge gets. And so the more you do something, the easier it gets to repeat the behavior. So it's so much easier for some of you if you grew up like cooking a recipe from scratch with your family and it's like a traditional thing and you do it and it might be really really involved, right? It might be like you're making these noodles homemade or you're making this crust homemade and you're doing all this stuff that might actually feel easier to for you to do to roll into the kitchen and make this very elaborate recipe that is by all definition technically more difficult to make than to go in and make some brand new recipe that I hand you that's healthy with a bunch of ingredients that you've never heard of, but it might be like the easiest thing to do. Like it might like take 10 minutes. It's going to feel harder for your brain because you've never done it before and you have to think about it more. But the more you do something, the easier it gets to do it. So you are driving to a concert, but it's on the same path part way that you take every single day to go to work. You ever accidentally get off at the exit to go to work? Why the hell am I getting off this exit? Or you drive home from work and you don't remember the drive. Any of you ever do that? And you pull in the driveway and you're like, shit, I hope I didn't run over a cat. Like, how did I get here? I'm blacked out and I haven't even been drinking because you've driven that path so many times. The neural pathway in your brain for that trip is just there. So you don't have to think about it. It just happens. Like you're on autopilot. You can tune out and think about how the whole day went because you automatically know where to turn. You don't have to like look for directions, right? And that's kind of how habits are. Now there's another myth actually to all of that that we'll circle back to, okay? But nonetheless, if you have been eating a certain way your whole entire life, or moving your body, or not moving your body if you don't work out in a certain way, your whole entire life, or for the past 10 years, or whatever it is, Is that going to just go away in 3 weeks? No, because what has to happen is you have to start the behavior, which sometimes is one of the hardest parts, right? The first step is get yourself to do the damn thing in the first place, right? But you got to get yourself to do the thing. And then you have to do it and do it and do it and deepen those grooves in your brain, deepen those neural pathways, and it will start to feel easier. And then life happens. Stress happens. Your schedule happens. Your boss is a dick happens. Whatever it is. And guess what? You just, whoop, you slide right back onto that old track in the brain because it's still a deeper track. The way you ate, reaching for the Doritos, reaching for the cigarette, whatever the thing is, reaching for the Coke. I meant Coca-Cola. Whatever, that you'd gravitate towards in those stressful moments or when you're busy or whatever. If you've done that 1 million times and then you do something healthy for a few weeks, that groove in your brain is not deeper for the new activity. It's still deeper for the old one. And in times of stress or whatever, you're going to want to go bloop right back onto the old path. Now, what we all do to ourselves when we default back to the old behavior is we go, oh, I knew I couldn't do this. I suck at changing habits. I suck at changing my behavior. I just love food too much. I'm just too stressed out. I'm just too busy for this. I'm just gonna have to wait until life calms down. Girl, life ain't calming down. You might get a pocket of time where life is calm and ain't gonna last. Let's just forget about that. Okay, we got to make it work when life is busy. But what you have to understand is what just happened is normal. It's normal. And when you're like, when you see people who are consistent, first of all, if they have the results that you don't have, they probably are more consistent than you. But you might be building it up in your head how consistent they are. They're probably not as perfect as you think that they are. But I promise you that to get to those consistent places, they had so many times where they fell apart and had to get back on. And understanding that habits take a really long time to develop is imperative for you to know that so that you don't throw in the towel. It's like these grooves in your brain are like, think of them like a well-worn path through the forest. The first time you go from point A to point B, there's no path, there's no trail, you're forging the way. But the more times, the more people have went down that trail, it's going to start wearing away the leaves and the sticks. And eventually there's just like this very easy path that's all lit up for you to follow. You need to do the behavior over and over and over again until it's like that in your brain. Habits aren't created in a specific period of time. That's the trick about it. Everybody's like 3 weeks, 21 days. Oh, it just takes a few months. No, girl, it takes longer than that. But it's really not about the time. It's about the reps. You got to put in the reps. You got to do it over and over and over and over again. And then there's the slippery part where it starts to feel easier because it is because you've done it enough. But like lurking in the background is that old path that it's so easy to just whoop, fall back on. So it feels really easy. You feel like you're in a good groove. You're like, I've got this for the first time ever. I'm doing so great. And then something boop, puts you back on that old path. No problem. Take yourself, get back on the new path, start wearing it in again. You get like practicing that pivot from the old, like you fall off, you go back to the old habit, then you pivot back onto the new one again. Practicing that pivot is essential. So when you screw up, I don't even want you to be mad. Okay? I want you to celebrate it as practice. You got to pivot. I'll tell you this. In our Keep It Off Academy, women can work with us. Well, first of all, they can work with us for as long as they want. We have some clients who've been with us for like 2 or 3 years. Love you, girls. We have some clients who only work with us for like 3 months. Not because those things are habits by then, but because we give them tools to change their behavior and their habits and build a plan that's even working, because that's helpful. If what you're doing is working, you're much more likely to stick with it, right? Is it a habit for them when they leave us in 3 months? No. No, it's not. It's not a habit after 3 months. So why do they keep going and message me 2 years later? They lose 20 pounds with us in the 3 months. And then I hear from them 2 years later. They've been working all on their own without any coaching. And they're like, I lost another 50 and I'm maintaining it really easy. It's not because we made it a habit for them before they left. It's because they learned how to keep themselves going. They learned habit hacks to develop real habits. They learned that it won't be perfect and to give themselves some grace and to pick themselves back up and to do it again. Do you know who I get the most concerned for? Any client who's worked with us and it was too easy. This happens. Sometimes people come into our program and they work with us for 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is. And like their life is pretty calm. I mean, it's chaotic because we're all women in midlife and whose life isn't chaotic. But by and large, like nothing wild happens. And they're losing weight easier than they ever have because they've learned their body and they know what it wants. And they're like, oh, okay, this is easy. And they just lose, lose, lose. And it feels so easy. And they're so happy with us. They're so, so happy when they leave. They're like the happiest clients ever. And they're like, love you, bye. And I'm like, I love you, bye too. But message me if life starts lifing and you need a hand because I know 100%, 100% certainty there's not a girl in this group right now listening to me whose life is going to go perfect from here until they die. That ain't it. And we've got to learn how to pick ourselves back up into our healthy habits when life starts lifing, because that's when we default back to old patterns. So when life lifes on you, or your brains on you, maybe life is fine, but your brain just starts doing what brains do. And you're like, I was doing so good and now I'm not. What happened? Okay, sit and analyze it. Sure. See, was there something that triggered you? Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. Maybe you just like got sick of the new thing and you defaulted back to the old thing. Is that surprising? If you did one thing for 30 years and then you tried something new for a few weeks, is it shocking if you go back to doing the old thing? No, that's logical that that is going to happen. But we make it mean things because people are running around telling us we should be able to build a habit in 3 weeks. No, you are not going to build a habit in 3 weeks. That is a Beachbody program. That's not actual psychology. Now, here's one last myth. All right, before we wrap this up, let's talk about what a habit really even is. Not from it being a neural pathway, but like, I think we get it in our heads that a habit means it's going to be so automated that it's not going to take any thought at all. So, like the example of driving the car, you got all the way home and you had no thoughts. It's kind of scary. You were on complete autopilot. And we expect our healthy habits to be that way too. Girl, it never gets like that. It gets easier. Eating healthy, working out, it will get to be your default way of being. It will, because you'll start to identify with it. You'll do it enough times where you've got the neural pathway in, right? And then you'll start to identify with like, oh, I am somebody who eats healthy. I am somebody who works out. And in that identity work, you'll start this is just who I am now. This is just what I do. When my girls get there, I know they've got it. When they're like, I don't know, it just feels like this is just what I do now. Like, but guess what? They're still always planning. They're still always being intentional, even in the car scenario. Well, sure, you accidentally drove yourself home blacked out, but you still made the decision to get in the car to go home. It was like, okay, it's time to punch out from work. I gotta go get my car now. I gotta turn it on. Like you thought about something. Nothing is ever completely thoughtless. And we're so busy and we're so overwhelmed all the time. And we get sick of thinking about food. Like, who hates the question, what's for dinner? I wonder how many marital fights have started with the question, hey, babe, what's for dinner? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. Nothing sounds good, but I'm hungry. Well, we could go out to eat. Well, we could make this. It fucking drives you crazy, right? So sometimes we just want to freaking break about thinking about what we're going to make for dinner. But here's the deal. We always have to plan our healthy habits. Like food isn't going to just show up in your house. You are still going to have to think about it even when it's a habit, but it gets so much easier. Okay? So don't be discouraged when you hear me say that. Be encouraged. It will get easier. Even the meal planning, the meal acquiring, the meal cooking. Good Lord. Just eating the way that we need to eat to lose weight is a multi-step process. No wonder we're tired. But all of those things will get way, way, way easier the more you do them. But you have to put in the reps, but then also expect there's always going to have to be some level of effort that goes into it, even when it's a healthy habit. It's never going to be 100% autopilot. It's not going to be a habit in the sense that, like, your nervous system just tells you to breathe and you don't even have to think about it. It's not going to be part of your autonomic nervous system, ladies. You're going to have to think about it. What a first world problem do we have, though, right? So, like, feeding yourself used to look like, I don't know, how far back in time do we want to go? Hunter gatherer, you had to like walk around, forage for things all day long, was spent just acquiring food. If you like lived in Ireland in the Middle Ages, now you guys are going to see how bad I am at history. I'm just literally making shit up. It could not be true at all. But it would be like, let me work this hard for 3 months just to end up with 5 potatoes and then have to bargain with my neighbor to get some goat milk. I don't know. It wasn't good food, okay? And they had to work really, really, really hard for it. And now we're like, oh, this is so hard for me to make my Kroger click list and have this guy show up at my doorstep and deliver my groceries. Come on now. We have to take the time to plan some things out. We do gotta put in a little bit of effort here, but it's not nearly as hard as it was for humans in the past. We can do this, and it will get easier. I promise you, if you stay the course and you do the things, it's going to get easier. If working out sucks for you, you totally hate it. Hi, you're my people. I love it now. Love it now. Not where I started. Hated working out. Didn't have time for it. Blah, 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 all the things. I was just gonna starve myself so I didn't have to work out. Blah, 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 all the things. I didn't start loving it overnight. I didn't start loving it until my body changed so much and I saw all the benefits and I was like, whoa, okay. It takes time. Start small. Habits are not built by you trying to change every single thing about who you are overnight and being like, all right, new year, new me. I now am a raw food vegan who rucks for 3 hours a day with a 55-pound backpack on, and like all I do is eat and breathe fitness. No, one at a time. Slow and steady wins the race, but it's all about putting in the reps. You gotta give it time for it to actually turn into a habit and not have the expectation that it's going to be 3 weeks. So I hope that this helps you guys. If you have a hard time changing your behavior, holler at your girl. Like, yes, so did I. And by the way, if you need help with building habits, the nutrition, the exercise, the mindset, so many pieces that go into this, right? You're in menopause and you're like, what is my body even doing? I don't even know this body. We have so many resources here in this group that can help you. Literally message me and tell me what it is that you're struggling with, and I'll point you in the right direction. If you're watching this live, next week we have a free training called Help. My old tricks aren't working anymore, because that's the sentence that I hear from everybody all the time. Help! Everything that used to work before I turned 30, before I turned 40, before I hit menopause, whatever, like it all stopped working. Or it still works, but like you're so sick of it because it works until you stop and then you regain it all and you're like, ugh, there's got to be a better way to do this. If you resonate with that, girl, sign up for that free training. Comment help in the comments here of this video. We'll get you that link. or send me a direct message and just say, hey, I want in on next week's free training. Cool. I'll give you the link. If you're like, I need something structured to follow and I don't want full coaching, but I've got a couple $100. Give me a program that's going to line everything out for me. Cool. We got you. If you want full coaching and you're like, I know me and it takes me a minute to change my behavior and having somebody guide me through it and do things that are actually going to work where I don't have to overthink every little thing and second guess my behavior and I don't have to eat weird crap and I don't have to take a bunch of pills and potions and weird prepackaged food. I want to hear about your Keep It Off Academy. Message me and tell me that. We have so many different ways that we can help you here. We just want you to find whatever you need. So whether it's these random trainings that we do here in the group, one of the free trainings where it's an actual event, an actual structured program, holler at your girl. We have many, many things that can help you out. But in closing, I will just say you can build healthy habits no matter how terrible yours currently are. You guys, I was a walking train wreck. I swear to you, before I started, I worked a night shift. My body hated it. I was chain smoking them cigarettes to stay awake. My dinner was Pop-Tarts out of the vending machine at 3 in the morning at the nurse's station. And I was like skinny until one day I wasn't. And I woke up and I was like, how did I get in this body? What's happening right now? And it's like, oh, you can't keep eating that way. Duh. And I was all autoimmune and I knew what to do. And I couldn't change a habit to save my life. Helping other women lock in habits that are healthy who do not feel like they are a health nut. I love it. I love it. I love helping you guys do this because I know that you can. So if you have any questions about this topic, drop them here in the comments. I'm happy to help. I hope that you're all having a lovely day and do one healthy thing for yourself today. Go put in 1 rep for that healthy neuro pathway in your brain and then come back and tell me about it because I'd love to hear about it.